Hello, love bugs, and welcome back to my channel, Life as Juliana. And I am here with another storytime video, Teen Mom, when I found out I was pregnant at 16. So I'm going to get into the story time. And if you have not watched the story time that I uploaded last time, just go ahead and check in the description box. That story time link will be down below. So let's just jump right into the story time. Hopefully this will relate to someone from a long time that's been 16 and pregnant, or can relate to somebody right now, right? But anyway, I was living in Jamaica at the time when I found out I was pregnant at 16, and I was in high school. I think I was probably about in the 10th grade. Yes, I was in the 10th grade. I did not have a boyfriend at the time, and I surely was a virgin at the time. So let's get that clear. And also, my baby's father, we did not have a relationship. What I have to say about him is that he was much older than I was, and also about him is to put it on the nicer side. Let's just say leave the people and pick them alone, and that's all I have to say about that part. But I was a virgin, and I did not have a relationship with him. Okay, so let's get it out of the way. But anyway, how did I find out I was pregnant? Moving right along, I was in high school, like I said, and I noticed that I was having cramps in my stomach and my boobs kind of swell up. But I thought probably when my period was getting ready to come or something like that. But then the period didn't come, and then I was having like some feel bad symptoms, but I wasn't throwing up or nothing like that. So anyway, I was smart enough to know that something was off, because eventually the period did not show up, and I was living with my mom at the time. I never tell her anything. But in Jamaica, you could go to the clinic. It's not like in America where you can just go in at the pharmacy and just go buy a pregnancy test kit and just do a pregnancy test. It wasn't like that in Jamaica when I was growing up. We had to go to the clinic, and so you don't need your parents to come to the clinic with you in Jamaica, that's for sure. So what I did, I just walked in and decided to go and have a pregnancy test done. And so when I had it done, the nurse or the doctor, whoever the person was, came and tell me that I was in fact 6 weeks pregnant. And I was like, wow, I was shocked, didn't know what to do. I mean, I was in high school. I had a lot of activities that I was doing in school. I was in dancing, I was in drama, I was doing a lot of stuff in high school. Um, I was shocked. But anyway, now it was time to tell him, of course, that I was pregnant. So anyway, I went and I told him that I was pregnant. He never denied, because he knew that I was in fact a virgin, so he never denied anything. And so the hardest part of it was letting my mother know, because my mother was more of a quiet person, and I was just feeling some kind of way. Back in Jamaica, it's like when you're 16, in back now it's probably like style, but when I was growing up at 16 and your daughter is pregnant at 16, it's more like an embarrassment, I think, to a parent. So I had to get the guts to go and tell my mother that I was in fact pregnant, 6 weeks pregnant, and I didn't want to tell her. So what did I do? I did share it with my one of my older sister. I didn't tell my oldest sister, but I did share it with my second sister, my sister that passed away. I shared it with her, and I told her that I was pregnant, because she didn't know who the baby father is anyway. And so instead of me tell my mother, I felt really bad and really embarrassed. So I ran away from home. But when I ran away from home, I didn't really run away. I went and stayed with my sister. I just couldn't deal with the fact of telling my mother. I just couldn't get it inside of me to tell my mother that I was pregnant. But anyway, eventually, I went to like I said, I ran away. I stopped going to school and all that stuff. And then my sister, of course, told my mother that I was pregnant, and my mother was so devastated. Eventually, she came and she said, you need to come home and all of that stuff. My mother was a forgiving woman, and God bless my mother. She said, you need to come home and all of that stuff. And I went home at the time. By this time now, I'm like probably like 3 months pregnant. So here I am with a little pumpkin going back home at 3 months pregnant. It was very, very difficult. To be 16 and pregnant. I was still going to school. I would still go to school. Um, Even when I was like 4 months, but by the time 4 or 5 months roll along, then my stomach started to kind of peak through my school uniform. And mind you, in America, it's totally different. A girl could go to school right up until the 9th month of pregnancy. Nobody don't even care. Nobody don't even look at her. It's like a style, um, to be pregnant and going to school in America. In Jamaica, when you are 16 and pregnant, you don't want to go to school because teachers are looking at you funny, like it's contagious. Students are looking at you funny, like you're super contagious. Parents definitely don't want you hanging with your daughters. So, the best thing for you to do for get out of the humiliation and all of that stuff was not to go to school. So, eventually, when I became like about 5 months pregnant, I ended up dropping out of school. I stopped going to school, and then um, for the remaining of the months that I was pregnant, I just did like homeschool for sure, and I tried to do the best that I could. As far as baby daddy goes, he had went away to some island or whatever. Like I said, it wasn't a relationship or nothing, but we did communicate. But it wasn't a relationship in my eyes. It wasn't a relationship. But now when I was probably about 7 months pregnant. Of course, I have a heart condition, so I had to go to the doctor very often. And let me tell you something. My doctor, Dr. McKenzie, who's my personal care doctor, when he saw me, I was 7 months pregnant, and he was shocked. He was shocked. He was shocked beyond shocked. He was disappointed. He could not believe that the child that he said at 6 years old when he met me for the first time and him tell me say I wouldn't be able to have children because of my heart being so damaged. He was shocked that I wasn't even going to make it to even give birth to the child, because when they checked my heart while I was pregnant with my daughter, my heart didn't get any better. My heart was still all over the place. I was still, going through medication, doing all kinds of things as far as my heart was concerned to stay healthy. And here I am coming to a doctor's visit to see him, and I was pregnant. He was livid. He was mad at my mother. He never really mad at me, but he was like mad at my mom. And I'm sitting there thinking like my mother didn't do anything wrong. So, but back in Jamaica, you know, dare talk to a grown person, no matter how what age it is. You don't never talk to a grown person. But anyway, I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and just be a mom, and just, the baby is not going anywhere. The baby is coming because abortion wasn't an option for me. So I decided I was just going to go ahead and have my baby just grow up and be a woman real quick and have this baby, bring this baby into this world, even if it was going to cost me my life. I wasn't ready to be a mom. I was only 16, but hey, she wasn't going anywhere. So I just had to be a mother. So anyway, I'm going to my doctor's appointments and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do to stay healthy. And then 9 months come along and I prepare for my baby and all of that stuff. And then 9 months come along and it's time for me to have this baby. Now I go into the hospital and the baby was born November 12th. No, my daughter's born November 17th. Yes. So she's all grown up now, and I must say she's a beautiful one. And yeah, she's here and she's beautiful. Yes, my daughter is beautiful, gorgeous. But I must say it was very, very, very difficult. I had a difficult birth. When my went in, the baby came out okay and all of that stuff, born all right. But I noticed after the baby came out, I noticed I start to have like light. I was very lightheaded and dizzy and woozy, and then they took the baby away. I remember that, and I remember laying on the bed, and I remember every 5 to 15 minutes, a nurse would come, and she would check my blood pressure very, very often. And I noticed that every time they come and check the blood pressure, they was injecting my leg. They kept on injecting the leg, injecting the leg. I'm laying there like I don't know what's going on. Can not explain nothing to me, but I noticed that every 5 to 15 minutes, a nurse would come and she would inject my leg. And I'm wondering like what's going on. But every time I try to move or come off of the bed, I can't move. But anyway, long story short, eventually after about being in the, I guess that's an observation area after the baby come out, because they didn't put me in the ward right away. They had me like in another section to keep it in the I guess here they would call it IC unit. So they have me in a little section where the nurse would keep a eye on me, and eventually they thought I was in the clear, so they put me in my room, in my bed and everything. But they didn't bring the baby right away. So I noticed that I start to feel cold and all of that stuff, very, very cold. And I asked the nurse for a blanket, and then she bring the blanket come, and I start trying to warm up and everything. And then it was time to bring the baby. Can them keep on watching me and all of that. And then but the name of the hospital that had the baby is Jubilee Hospital. If you're in Jamaica, then you'll know this hospital. It's in Kingston, Jamaica. And so the baby came, and I'm laying in the bed, and I'm looking at the baby and all of that stuff, and baby, so I'm like, oh, she's so beautiful. But still, I'm still feeling woozy, I'm still feeling lightheaded, I'm still feeling dizzy, and I'm like one, and I'm thirsty. So I call the nurse, and the nurse comes, and I said to the nurse, said, I really feel dizzy and lightheaded and all that stuff. So she's like, do you want another blanket, some water? She went and got some water. She brought another blanket, so now I'm wrapped in two blankets, trying to get warm because I'm thinking I'm just like really, really cold. The water just cold, but feel super lightheaded to the point where I wasn't even trying to get up out of bed. But eventually, no, I took a little nap. I took the baby out of the cot. They put a little thing next to the bed, and I took the baby out and I put the baby in the bed with me. And I think that was something that I really shouldn't have done. But anyway, I wanted to have the warmth of the baby next to me, so that's what I did. And so after about an hour wrapped up in the bed with the baby, I felt like I needed to go to the bathroom. So that was my head was just so light. I wasn't even thinking to even put the baby back in the little cot. I just decided to get up and go to the bathroom. All I can remember is me getting up from bed and get my little necessaries that I needed to go to the bathroom, because this is not my first time going to the bathroom since I gave birth to the baby. And so I remember getting my little woman stuff and everything, and I remember standing up, and I remember feeling extremely lightheaded. And I also remember holding on to the side of the rail, walking towards the bathroom. And that is all I can remember. I do not remember anything else from that point. Next thing you know, long story short, I wake up and I'm laying in bed. My baby is not next to me, and I'm looking around my room, and it's all different. I'm definitely not in the same room that I was when I had the baby. And I noticed that I noticed that the nurses are different, everything is different in the area where I'm at. And then I'm hooked up to high V's, and I'm hooked up to heart monitors, and I'm hooked up to everything. You name it, I'm hooked up on it. And so all I could do was just close my eyes and fall back asleep, because I don't know what's going on. And then I'm in and out of sleep, in and out of sleep. And at one point, I remember waking up, the nurse was there, and I said, "Where's my baby?" I didn't even know what day it was, what time it was, nothing. And she said, "Don't worry about it, just close your eyes and go back to sleep." And then I remember closing my eyes again, and I remember waking up again. And at one point, I woke up, I saw my mom. My mom was standing next to my bed. And here I am telling my mom, "I have a baby." I remember telling my mom, "I have a baby." But I'm just not, whatever I'm mumbling is not really making any sense. But all I know is that the baby wasn't with me at all. I guess the baby, they had the baby in with the nurses, whatever, the nurses station. But I remember having my family would be coming. The room that I was in was so restricted. You had to be like, everything had to be extremely clean. Like anybody that was coming in had to be super clean. If you had a cold or a cough or anything, you couldn't come to visit me. They would not let you in. They would ask you what family member you was. They definitely wasn't letting any friends in there to see me. They wasn't letting any kids to come in to see me. It was just a close family member. So I remember my mother was the main one that would come and visit me. At this point, my grandmother was in America at this time, so she was away, and then my siblings. But the most person that really could come in, that they would let in to come and visit with me, was my mother. And eventually, after I started getting everything started to come back, eventually I found out it was a process just to get my health and everything back and my baby back in my arms. I realized it was 2 to 3 weeks later when I finally opened my eyes for the very first time after I fell on the floor. It was 2 weeks later. I was out. My birth for my daughter was a really rough experience. Being a mother at 16, for me, the pregnancy was okay. I had a good pregnancy, but the birthing section for my delivery was a horrible experience. Once again, I cheated death for the second time, and my daughter was born. She was 7 pounds and 7 ounces, a beautiful baby girl. Yeah, but it was rough. It was a rough one, and yeah, that's basically my story. I love my daughter. Thank God she's here. She's here for a reason. God kept me here to have her, and yeah, that's it. So I hope you like the story. Give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope it relates to someone out there. Being 16 and pregnant ain't no joke. All right, go to school and learn the golden rule, because teenage mama joke is no joke. All right, so see you in the next one. Bye.